Welcome and thank you very much for being here. As you know, in this class, you are going to learn one of the beautiful poems written by the Persian mystic Sufi poet Hafez and titled as The Woman I Love. And this poem is prescribed under the paper The Writings from Middle East and for the fourth semester MA English students of Calicut University. So my goal is to help you get an understanding of the poem, about the poet, and a small summary of the poem. Before that, I personally want to thank you once again for being here with me and learning from me. And if you don't know me, you're for the first time, my name is Pradeep Hariharan and I teach literature online. And if you already know me, thank you very much for your support, companionship, and being with me. So let's start the class. For your convenience, I have divided the class into 6 parts. In the first 3 parts, we discuss about the poet Hafez. Remember, it has got 2 spellings. Somewhere I have seen it is Hafez or Hafiz. So both. And remember, and then he speak about the symbols, themes in general about the poem. And the second part, we speak about the introduction to the poem and the poem itself and a little summary to help you understand. So we start from the poet himself, the period is he lived. Remember, he's a 14th century poet. If you could compare him with our own English writer, that is the time of Chaucer. And I always like to make such comparisons for remembering. There are 4 points I would like to tell you about him. Remember, he is one of the most celebrated Persian mystical Sufi poet. And even today, he is widely quoted in Iran and one of the influential poets. Remember, if you look at chronologically, he comes after Rumi and he is a strong towering figure with Rumi and Sadi. But in our syllabus, he comes before Rumi. That's why I am recording this before Rumi. Okay. And since he is a Sufi poet, remember he is known for 3 themes. One is the theme of love, the physical love and divine love, but more to divine love. And secondly, spirituality, strong Sufi tradition. It's rooted in spirituality. And he was also a poet of protest. He had no problems in criticizing the hypocrisy of the period, of the people of his time. And okay, it's point I said. So these are the 4 points we need to know about him. And if you look at the symbols, remember Sufi poetry is known for wonderful imagery and its symbols. And the translators say it is very difficult to translate the Persian version to English. So what we get in English is what you may call a 60% or 70% of the true things what he really written. And one of his central themes is wine, which he uses as a symbol of love. And the next thing we need to know about him, the themes of his poem, because since what you may call, he is a poet who is not that much known to me. That is why I included this. So there are 4 themes which is central to half his poetry. The first one, as I told you, he is a poet of love. And he explores the theme of love, both earthly and divine. And when you think of love poets, he is a Sufi tradition, but so in that sense he writes. And secondly, spiritual insights. So, what you may call, when you read his poems, you'll be phenomenally taken away by the kind of insights he had at the time he lived. And human and the divine, the metaphysical question, it's beautifully addressed by Hafez's poetry. And life, he celebrates life. Okay, that's his feature. Joys of life, pleasure, wine, revelry. So actually, when you think of spiritual poets, it's his theme is not to separate from what you may call the physical pleasures. Actually, he is a kind of poet who can find a divine in the physical world, which is something phenomenally outstanding about Hafez poetry. And remember, he is also a very strong critic, a protester. He and protested the hypocrisies of his time, and he stood for authenticity, sincerity, and direct experience of the divine. So it's a pleasure to learn his poem. Now we come to the poem that I have to study, The Woman I Love. Remember, The woman in this poem does not stand for the real woman. Okay, it stands for the divine, and it stands for seeing goodness in everyone, that is divine in everyone. So then that is why I say the woman I love specifically is his experience with the divine, the supreme. And remember, I told you the theme of this poem is seeing divinity in everyone, in everybody's heart. And the poem is want to discuss about the divine presence in everyone, the unity, need for unity, and the quest for spiritual connection and understanding. So what he wants to say is that whatever happens in our life is connected with the divine. Now we come to the poem. Remember, the poem actually it has got 14 lines, the one which I saw on internet. So this is what I got. So it's a very simple poem. So let's go through it. Because the woman I love lives inside of you, I lean as close to your body with my words as I can, and I think of you all the time, dear pilgrim. Because the one I love goes with you wherever you go, Hafiz and Miss Kaya will always be near. If you sat before me, Wayfarer, with your aura bright from your many charms, my lips could resist rushing to you, but my eyes can no longer hide the wondrous fact of who you really are, the beautiful one whom I adore has pitched her royal tent inside of you. So I will always lean my heart so close to your soul as I can. So this is the poem, and now we go on to the summary part of it. So I have conveniently divided the poem into four parts. The first part, line 1 by 4, line 5 and 6, line 7 and 8, line 11 and 14. So in the first four lines, let's see what he is trying to say. Let me reduce me. The first four lines, because the woman I love lives inside of you, I lean as close to your body with my words as I can, and I think of you all the time, dear pilgrim. So here, the woman is the person. Actually, here the poet is speaking to a person, which you could understand. And the thing is that the woman he loves is interpreted as divine of God. As I told you, it is not the some physical or a individual woman. It is the woman which is the divine of God. And the way he addresses a person as a pilgrim, so that itself shows his spirituality. And remember, he wants to communicate his love and devotion not only through the physical closeness but also through his words. So here he's addressing to a person as a calling as a pilgrim, and he says that the person, the woman means the divine I love is within you. So I want to connect to you so that in that way I can connect to the divine. So it's beautifully, I think of you all the time, dear pilgrim, because the one I love goes with you wherever you go. So by connecting with you, I connecting with the divine God. Great. Now we come to the second line 5 and 6. Let's see what he has written. Here he says, because of the one I love goes with you wherever you go, Hafiz and Miss Kaya will always be near. Here he says that the divine, the person whom I love, is with you, with everyone. Okay. So here he says that since he's going with you, he, the poet, and probably a translator or interpreter called as Miss Kaya, remain close as well through their shared love of the divine. So ultimately, it's very beautifully written. Now we come to the next part, which is lines 7 to 10. Here he speaks of the physical side of love. Okay. He says, if you sat before me, Wayfarer, you and your aura bright from your many charms, my lips could resist rushing to you, but my eyes can no longer hide the wondrous fact of who you really are. So there is a physical closeness. At the same time, he's enjoying. Okay, so he says that actually he says you are magnetic. Okay, and you are a wayfarer means that is it's highlighting the journey. Life is a journey, and he says that he has what you may call a temptation for physical reaction, like lips rushing to the person, but at the same time he cannot the wonder of seeing divine love in the person who is addressing. So it's very hard to understand the concept, because seeing goodness in everyone, seeing divine in everyone is very much connected to the Sufi culture. And towards the end, the last four lines, the beautiful one whom I adore has pitched her royal tent inside you. So I will always lean my heart as close to your soul as I can. So he says that the beautiful one, it's capitalized with the B and O, residing within the person who is speaking, and he has put the royal tent inside him. So, as I told you, the central theme of Sufi poetry, which is the divine resides in every individual. It is we who have to find the divine in other person, not the evil in them. And his intention is to remain close to all the persons of this world, and by that way he connects a deep spiritual and emotional connection with all the people he sees. So this is what you may call not as the kind we expected, but remains a very good poem to understand the Sufi poetry and Hafiz poetry. So thank you very much for watching till the end. I'll see you in the next class. Until then, take care. And if you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and please do subscribe and support. I'll see you. Take care. Bye.